Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and the honors to the apostles and others who read millstone, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I am now Allah, from GMS Chicago, and this is just going to be a quick lesson about circumcision in the mind. Circumcision is that of the heart, and I must first start off with Romans chapter 2, verse 28. It says, "For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart." And noticing it says, but he is a Jew inwardly, all right, which and circumcision is that of the heart. And you go into that word circumcision, it gives you all these variety of different definitions, but it says circumcision of the heart, right? You go down and really, here in the blue letter definition, it tells you of Christians separated from unclean multitude and truly consecrated to God. Or you got the extinction of passions and removal of spiritual impurity. Yeah, that's basically what the circumcision in the heart really means. The extinction of passions and removal of spiritual impurity. And when you come into this truth, you are being renewed in the mind, all right, by taking up this word and applying it. You're being renewed in the mind. You're putting off that former conversation of the old man, which is corrupt, and you're putting on that new man. All right. So this is what this scripture is basically talking about. I'll read it again. Well, starting at verse 28. "For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of man but of God." Let's go ahead and read the NLT for a better understanding. It says, "No, a true Jew is one whose heart is right with God, and true circumcision is not merely obeying the letter of the law. Rather, it is the change of heart, the change of mind, produced by God's Spirit, and a person with a changed heart seeks praise from God and not from people." Yeah, like again, you come into this truth, you're being renewed in the mind, and putting off that former conversation of the old man, which is corrupt. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. You're basically putting off the old way of your thinking. You're putting off evil. You're putting away childish things, all right? I'm going to go ahead and read in 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." And as a child, you don't know any better. You just go on to do folly. You're basically a troublemaker as you're a child, right? And you thought as a child. You think as a child. But here it says, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And really, this is referring to that, a child would be having like a carnal mentality. They don't know any better, all right? But hey, here you have the father, you know, that is to teach him the ways of how to live properly, how to how to become a man at the end of the day. You know, putting away off evil, so to say. Ephesians chapter 4 and 22. All right. That ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts. And hey, when you come into this truth, you're being renewed in the mind. You have to grow in this thing, and and you gotta basically purge out those impurities. All right, purge out that old man and become that new man. All right, putting off that old way of thinking and putting on that new way of thinking with this, which is this new way of thinking. This the being renewed in the mind basically is applying this word. All right, verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. And how do we be renewed in the spirit in our mind? Is by eating up this word, applying it. All right, and putting off that form of conversation of the old man, which is corrupt. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be done. Oh, wait, Salakia. It is that which shall be, and that which is. Oh, wait a minute. Salakia. Oh, Salakia. Ecclesiastes 11 and 9. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the way of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know, though, that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. And the NLT tells you in verse 10, it says, so refuse to worry and keep your body healthy. But remember that youth with a whole life before you is meaningless. And yeah, like again, yeah, um, as what Romans the second chapter of the 29th verse says, uh, circumcision of that is of circumcision of the spirit. You're basically putting off that old way of thinking. You're putting off that old man. You're basically putting off that taking away those impurities. All right, of that old man, and you come into this faith, and you start applying the scriptures. All right, being renewed in your mind. All right, you take heed to this word. All right, you take heed to rebuke. You don't rebel against this word. All right, all that is all that is needed. All right, because the former conversational old man, you know, that would be a person that doesn't want to get rebuked. That would be a person that doesn't accept correction. But hey, how are you gonna grow in this thing if you don't get rebuked? How are you gonna grow in this thing if you don't take correction? You know what I mean? All that is needed in this truth. But anyways, it was just that to that lesson. I hope it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua, and Shalom.